Good day everyone, I am Jude Adrian and Nicolas. So under item analysis, we will discuss the item discrimination index and item characteristics curve. So for the topic outline, we will be discussing the definition, the calculation, and how or the process on how item discrimination index help improve the psychometric properties of psychological tests. Second is we will discuss the item characteristics curve. Also, we will define it and explain it under the item response theory and understand how will it improve the psychometric properties of psychological tests as well. So for the ILOs, we will get to understand the workings of item discrimination index and item characteristics curve. Second, we should know how will it improve the psychometric properties of psychological tests in the process of standardization of test. So for the item discrimination index, it actually refers to the ability of items to differentiate among students on the basis of how well they know the material being tested. So it provides an estimate of the degree to which an individual item is measuring the same thing as the rest of the items. So simply put, we use item discrimination index in discriminating items in an exam. So when we discriminate items, we test on how an item is measured comparatively to the performance of stronger participants against weak participants. So if an item was fully discriminating, the stronger participants would get an item right and the lower participants would get it wrong. But how do we compute for this? So first, we subtract the difficulty index from the high score to the low score group. So as seen below, the high score group got a discrimination of 0.77 and the low score group got 0.50. So we subtract 0.50 from 0.77, on which we will get 0.27. Second is we do the analysis of response options. And importantly, we should divide the number of students who choose a specific letter option by the number of the students taking the test. For example, in the wrong answer, which is letter A or love, 4 over 25 students got or answered it. So it would be 0.16. And for the correct answer, 5 over 25 students answered it. So there would be a 0.20. Now in item discrimination index, it will help identify which item should be retained, discarded, or revised. So this helps in the interpretation as an indication of the extent to which overall knowledge of the content area or masters of the skills is related to the response item. But how does it improve the psychometric properties of psychological tests in the process of standardization of a test? So this will actually provide feedback on what the learners have learned, and it will enable instructors as well to determine and correct the faulty items present in a specific test. So next is another topic, the item characteristics curve. So it is actually a plot of the probability that a test item is answered correctly against the examinee's underlying ability on the trait being measured. So this is actually a basic building block of the item response theory. So simply understood, it shows the likelihood of respondents to select a certain choice in a test or sometimes a certain scale in a survey. So as per the item response theory, the association of characteristics between items and students in item response theory models is exposed by the probability that a take note student with a particular ability to get a particular score on a particular item. So in this curve, the ability level of an individual should correspond to the item difficulty, meaning an ICC is a function that shows the relationship between ability and the probability of answering an item correctly in a test. Next is how will it improve the psychometric properties of psychological tests in the process of its standardization. So it improves one by comparing items from different measures provided that they are measuring the same construct. So it can also be used to different further the differential item functioning in order to assess why items that are calibrated still behave differently among groups. So since it is anchored upon the idea of item response theory, it is found to provide a purpose for ability assessment. It is now used in education to calibrate and evaluate items in tests, also in questionnaires and other instruments, and to score subjects on other abilities, attitudes, or other latent traits. So looking back, this theory is built around the parameters that relate to properties of individual items and characteristics of individual respondents. Importantly, an application of item characteristics curve in test item selection gives a graphical property of the test items. Also, this will help include comprehensive analysis and reduction of errors. This will also help in creation of computer adaptive tests, the meaningful scaling of latent or unobservable behaviors, objective equating, and further, it will also help in evaluation of item bias and provide greater accuracy in the assessment, especially in therapeutic interventions. Now, for the rest of the topics in item analysis, it will be continued by the following reporters. Thank you, everyone.